It's P that not the general. Too new of the podcast. You keep your body clean, nah? Yeah.
Being really comfortable with all of that thing. You know what you're trying to say? Do what you do, baby. Yeah, I want to congratulate. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Real.
Yeah. I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole juice. Man, I'm looking at the screen like preach. Cause I was on the phone with him. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that he getting up there and he keeping it all the way phone. He ain't what them little niggas be saying. He ain't cloud chase. He ain't capping. He ain't doing none of that. Like, he ain't trying to make himself look. You know, he let his legacy speak. I like that shit. Like, let your legacy.
P that not the general. Too new of the podcast. You keep your body clean, nah? Yeah. I got a little that nut with me, you heard me? We got a special guest in here tonight, you heard me? But it's his story, so we're gonna let him tell it. Yo. Yo.
Yo, what's up, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You wanna get straight into the interview, or you want make your shout outs first?
Nah, we can get right into it, brother.
Okay, so what could you introduce yourself for the viewers and the listeners?
Yeah, what we on? It's what, are we on Facebook? What platform are we on?
Facebook and YouTube.
Set. Let me damn. Okay, you froze up. Hold on. Think my Wi-Fi doing something crazy. Can you see me?
Yeah, we back. You back?
Yeah. Am I freezing up?
Yeah, we froze up, but we back. We good.
Yep. Yeah, man. I'm in the hills, man. I'm in the hills, so the signal's kind of shaky up here, bro.
We good. We gonna bear with it. So we are on Facebook and YouTube right now.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'm Big Court of the Holding Court podcast. People probably know me from the podcast / Revolt TV. Of course, No Limit Forever, No Limit Soldier. You know, one of Master P's right hand man. So been around for a long time. People may have known me as Court Dog back in the day, some 20 years ago. A part of the group CCG from Kansas City, Missouri. Still rocking with Master P. If you see the big buck dude with him, a lot of the times that's me. So lately, been doing the podcast and doing the movies. So
yes, sir. So you do the podcast, you do the movies. What all forms of entertainment are you in?
Mainly the media space. Right now we got the Holding Court podcast, one of the top podcasts in the game. Actually, that's not just me saying that. Per my downloads, we average 150,000 to 300,000 downloads, audio downloads a month. So that puts me in the 3%, the top 3% percentile of podcasts. So we got one of the top podcasts with Holding Court Podcast. I co-hosted with my daughter Rachel Renee and my partner producer Ken. I'm a TV film producer. Just had a movie drop. I got some things in the works that we'll probably get into later that I'm working on with Ice-T. We're putting together our own TV network, our own fast channel and OTT platform. So those are the avenues of entertainment that I work in currently.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is a story behind every blessing. Kind of take us through your childhood, your upbringing, and everything up until you first met Master P.
I'm born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm from an area called the Faux Block. Only child. I grew up an only child. I had a beautiful childhood. I was raised on love, not survival. I was raised in a household where education was a focal point. Um, excuse me. I had a normal childhood, but I was born in the 70s. So growing up in the 80s, of course, we had the emergence of Reaganomics with crack cocaine and gangs infiltrating Kansas City, Missouri. So naturally, even though I have this foundation at home and this structure at home and the love at home, I still have to go outside and deal with the element. So, around 14, around 14, 15, I started getting street poisoning, started getting out into the street. Um, 15, I landed in jail for some serious charges. Uh, I had my daughter at 16, which is my co-host because she's 31. You know what I mean? So, I met P when I was 17. So around the time I graduated high school, I got into music. I was, rapping with my partner Cisco. We formed the group CCG, and from there we met Master P in 1995.
So you met Master P up in 1995, right? How did meet and P come about, and how did meet and P significantly change your life?
Um, so at the time that I met Pete, Pete was in the Bay Area. He wasn't even in New Orleans, or I should say Baton Rouge, yet. Um, he was still, in Oakland doing his thing. And this is around about the time that 99 Ways to Die came out and the first TRU. So I got with him right before Ice Cream Man. And so I just sent him tapes, back then, this is before social media. So you had to try to get a record deal. You had to send demos out. You had to, try to figure out how to get someone's attention. So I sent a bunch of tapes to a bunch of different record labels. Honestly, I was trying to get with Eazy-E and Ruthless Records in 1994. And so I was on Ruthless Records trying to get to E, but Easy passed March of 1995. So then that made me shift my efforts somewhere else. So he was just the one that answered. He's the one that got the package. He called me and was like, hey man, I like what y'all doing. I'm doing a compilation called Down South Hustlers. And he was like, man, if y'all want to, come out, I'll fly y'all out here. Let's get down. Let's do something. So he flew me and my partner Cisco out, and we did the song RIP on Down South Hustlers, which was our first gold record. It went gold, and that was 1995, 96. So that's how the relationship with P started.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you and P have maintained a relationship for 30 years. I've seen P drop Artist Family. How have you stayed so close to P all this time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the real answer to that would be we're kindred spirits. Me and P are similar. We're different, but the core value of us is the same. Meaning that we were both athletes. Neither one of us smoke or drink. We were very focused and very driven. And I think too, because even though we've always been friends and we've always been close, I've always had my own thing going on. So I think our relationship dynamic was different because of that, because I was kind of autonomous. I didn't rely on him for everything. I didn't rely on him to pay my bills, to put me, I always had my own lane. And I think there was a mutual respect with that. You know what I'm saying? So wherever me and him could make something happen and get a check together, we would. But for the most part, I was always like, our relationship wasn't based on or predicated on business. I think that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? It was just Courtney and Percy. It wasn't Master P and Big Court. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why it's always, been cool like that.
That's facts. That's facts. So you've been all around the world, Court,
Mhm.
all around all kinds of people, all kinds of places. Tell us about some times in your life that you would never forget.
It's been oh man, I've had some some hold on, y'all. It's a fire alarm. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
My daughter is cooking salmon, and she set off the smoke alarm from the oven.
Yeah, it's for protection. So you
Yeah,
see,
oh no, man.
it's all good. It's all good.
All right, my bad.
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's real life shit. My daughter's cooking, man.
It's all
Hey,
good.
so I'm sorry. What was that question again?
Um, you've been all around the world, around all type of different people, and around all type of different places, right? Bring us to some of the times in your life that you would never forget.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the question. I mean, to be honest with you, man, I've had so many. I've had exhilarating highs and I've had some devastating lows. Uh, you have to figure, man, I'm almost half a century old. You know what I mean? I'm two off 50. So I have really I've lived life, man. I've what this is what I can say. Um from being the little boy, from being a little boy on my bike in Kansas City with dreams of stardom and Hollywood and entertainment, not understanding what that looked like or what that really encompassed. I can say that from that space, I was blessed enough to be able to a lot of the things that I wanted to do come to fruition. Um, so with that being said, everything that I kind of set out to do from that space of being that dreamer, that little kid that was a dreamer, everything I've done everything. I've experienced it. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are levels to it. There's levels to it. So it's almost like a kid that wants to be in the NBA, right? Or in the NFL. Now, everybody don't have big endorsement deals. Everybody don't have the LeBron deal. We don't know, they don't have jerseys, but they made it, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that. It's like, yeah, I made it inside, but then once I got inside, it was like, oh, okay, I'm here. I got where I thought it was, but damn, even once I got here, there's levels to it, if that makes sense. So, um, so yeah, that could be because it's a broad question, and again, I have a million good times, and probably half of that I have some bad times too. So
Thanks, thanks. What's out of everything else that it is to do, right? What's kept you so close to entertainment for so long?
mm, I think it's because I've always been a creative. And I used to could draw really good when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so my mind thinks creativity. So that's why even as a kid, I would write poems to my mother. I would write stories, and then that transitioned into writing raps. You know what I'm saying? Then doing the rapping for so many years, that transitioned into me acting. Then that got into me producing and creating shows and creating content. So I think it's just being a creative, man. I've been a creative my whole life, and I passed it down to my kids. Same way. My son's an actor. My youngest daughter, she's a director. She's a film camera person. She's working on a TV show right now called Mind Your Business that's coming out on Bounce. My oldest daughter is a tech founder. She's a creator. So my kids are the same creative mind in the entertainment space. So it's just natural. I think it's just it was something innate.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
20 years ago, you moved to LA. What was the reason for the change of scenery?
Say it one more time.
20 years ago, you had moved to LA. What was the reason for a change of scenery?
Um, so let me see. I've been in LA 22 years. So you figure, at that time, man, I was coming out of music. I'm from the 90s in terms of the independent grind. I had been with P. I put out some independent records. The landscape of music was changing a little bit. I started really young in music. You got to figure I wrote my first rap in like 1989, 1988. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, so by the time the early 2000s came, I was kind of somewhat outgrowing rap. And so I always felt like you got to go to where the game is being played. I have outgrown my city. I had outgrown my city in many aspects, just in terms of, I was getting to the money. I was making some money. You when you come from a smaller town, you know how that is. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, let me get up out of here before catch a body, or I get indicted, or something happen. So I understand I'm outgrowing this space. Also mentally, I'm outgrowing it. And then I just wanted to go to where the game was being played. So, I've never been the person to try to be the big fish in the small pond. I want to go in where the whales are. You know what I'm saying? So that was part of it. And my wife, she wanted to move out here too. So yeah, it was all of that. Change of scenery, professional, outgrowing the city, and then seeking, more opportunity in the space that I was growing in.
When you say outgrowing the city, can you speak on the transition you went through when you saw the things in your life, the changes and the people and the places that you had to walk away from? When you finally realized that, can you speak on, not really give names, but some of the people, the places, and the things that you had to walk away from? You mentioned that you knew you were bigger than your city. Could you
Yeah.
speak on that transition when you finally realized that?
Yeah, it was actually, to be honest with you, that was happening well before I even left. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to get in that had to already happen for me to get in the mental space to even want to leave. You know what I'm saying? So I just start. I don't know. I always had insight and wisdom. You know what I mean? So I just start seeing that, it was just more for me, even though I did what I did in the streets or whatnot. But I knew that wasn't, that wasn't a long play. That was short term. And so many of my peers, dead, in jail with football numbers, with long sentences, and yeah, it's that mindset started well before I left. I would say several years before I left, because, and what it was is, even when I was there, I started, see, you don't even have to separate yourself. What happens is, when you start changing mentally, then you start doing different things. And because you're doing different things, people that aren't aligned with what you're doing, they're naturally going to fall off from you. You're going to start spending less time. So, case in point, an example, back then I was doing the music, you know what I'm saying? So if you figure, I'm going to the studio. I'm pursuing my dream. I'm in the studio all night. I got a family, I'm hustling, and then I'm kind of got one leg in the street and the other leg in the music industry. And then by this time I'm putting together, I'm doing independent stuff. You know what I mean? Um, so I so it was kind of like um I had to make up in my mind that, okay, I want to do something different. So when I'm going to the studio, some of my peers, they hanging out. They don't have the same goals I have. So they going to the club, they getting drunk, they getting high. They're kind of, not developing these habits. Hold on, just a, hold. So I had to so it was like, there I'm going to the studio, and I'm doing interviews, I'm flying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but some of my peers, they doing the same regular stuff. So what happens is, we're spending less time together. You know what I mean? Just, we not it's not even conscious. It's just because we're doing different things, and our affinities are somewhere else. So I'm saying that to say that that transition started even before I physically left. I had mentally kind of left those things even while I was there, so.
What's the biggest piece of advice you got from Pete?
um P is like Yoda. You know what I mean? Like he's always, saying some shit. Let me tell you what I learned. The two biggest things that I learned from P. One thing is utter confidence. To always have confidence in what it is that you're doing, even if you don't know what you're doing or talking about. You still supposed to act like you do. Um, and work ethic. That's one thing about P, man. I learned is work ethic. Like his work ethic is none other. He does not stop. No matter how late P is up doing something, he's up at 5 a.m. like clockwork with no alarm clock. You know what I'm saying? His work ethic. And so I learned that for the past 30 years. And I was able to, which I always had that anyway, but then being with him and understanding what it really takes to make shit crack. Like a lot of people think they want it until the work really starts. You know what I'm saying? So I would say work ethic and confidence. Those are the two main things.
What does generating wealth? I'm gonna say generational. What does generational wealth mean to you, and can you share with us the steps you've taken to build throughout the years?
Um, yeah, so generational wealth. Um, that's relative, right? Be honest with you, only a select few are probably gonna reach generational wealth, right? Um, but for me, my inroad to that was just through just knowledge, education, applied knowledge, and real estate. For me, I've tried a lot of different things over the years. And what I tell people is you got to be a purpose chaser, not a paper chaser. Because, when you go chasing the money, it's like chasing a shadow. You're never really going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Chasing the money only applies in the street because that's all it is, right? That's what you should be doing. But in terms of legitimate business, you got to chase a purpose because it takes time to really get to the money for anything worth having and anything worth building. It's going to take time. So you have to have a passion for it to put the time in, because most people, when they don't yield immediate results and they don't see the money, they quit, they stop because it's not their passion. They just looking for the money. So when you chasing your purpose, you going to do it because you love playing the game. The money just going to creep up on you. The money going to creep up on you. You just doing the work and doing what you love. And before you know it, it's like, damn, they gonna give me this for doing this? Like I'd have been doing this anyway. You know what I'm saying? So um that's really the key is I think educating yourself, finding out what your purpose is, and then putting that in behind that the drive and being committed. And you gotta believe, you gotta be the first believer. And then, it's all about how many people that you service too. People love LeBron makes a lot of money because, millions of people love to watch him play. So you either have to create something or have something that services a lot of people, which is a way to wealth, whatever that is, or find the solution to a problem, which usually is some type of service that is valuable to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, or real estate, which is my thing. You know what I mean? So, but it all comes back to just whatever your purpose is, man. Whatever you're passionate about, that's what you'll succeed in, and then that would be your individual inroad to generational wealth, or whatever that means for that individual.
You said only a select few would ever reach generational wealth. What made you say that, Cole?
Um, just the statistics and the facts. When you understand what wealth is, you know what I'm saying? Wealth is something that Oprah's wealthy. Everybody can't do that. Everybody's not going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Perry is wealthy, so it's a difference between rich and wealthy. Can you be well off? Yes. Can most people, if they apply themselves and they execute the right moves and the right money moves and different things like that, yes, you can definitely retire and leave your family a nice nest egg. But I mean, you're talking about something, a couple million dollars. Couple million dollars ain't what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference between rich and wealthy. Trust me, I've been a millionaire umpteen times over. Trust me, you can run through a million like there's nothing. It's just not what it used to be. If somebody give you $1 million right now, right, you get a check for a million. You got to figure 30% of that, is going to taxes. So you're going to see a little bit of half of that. Now, for me, I live in Los Angeles. The cost of living out here is crazy. So you got to figure, take this. So if I got 600,000, that's not going to go that far. A house in Compton out here, is 600,000, 700,000. You know what I'm saying? So even when you talk about you got 600,000, okay, cool. You go put a down payment on a house, closing cost of, like I said, depending on where you live, you know what I'm saying? Then you still got, it's not a lot like what people think. So I'm saying that to say it's just a difference between being wealthy and being rich. Of course you shoot for wealth, but statistically speaking, only a very few, make it to billionaire or quarter billionaire status or something like that.
Thanks. You created a legacy builder university community. Can you get into what motivated you to start that and what exactly that really is?
Yeah, so Legacy Builder University is a community that I created. It's on school. So anybody that's interested, you can go to iambigcourt.com and tap in with it. So basically, a lot of people over the years will ask me for advice for so many things, the same questions you asked, just about wealth building, about how to be successful, about different businesses, and just people just sometimes need motivation and guidance. So because a lot of people would ask me that, I just had to figure out a way to give back and figure out a way to centralize where I can share that information. So that's why I created Legacy Builder University. And so basically what we teach people, we teach them about, monetizing their talents, social media monetization, e-commerce, business funding, and also mindset strategies. Because to be honest with you, I'm a firm believer that everything starts here. You know what I mean? Like people always say they want to be millionaires, they want to be rich, they want to be successful. No matter what it is that you want to be successful at, you first have to become that person here to be able to attain that. You know what I mean? Like you have to become that person to be able to get the $1 million. Then you also have to become another person to maintain it. Because you can attain it, you can get it, but keeping it is a whole different science in itself. So it all comes back to mindset. So basically that's what we teach in Legacy Builders. So we got almost 1,000 members. We just launched maybe 2 months ago. So we have I had some of my celebrity friends come over there to the community and give advice and different things like that. We have a lot of business owners, people that really want to bring more attention to their business online. And they've been getting great results. We got so many testimonials of people that we help, the coaches. My daughter's a part of it. So I have a team of people. It's not just me, but I have a team of people as well. So that was just a way for me to give back, bro. It was just because I get so many DMs, man, how I do this, man, I want a podcast, man, I want to do real estate, man, I want to do this. And I was like, man, I can't answer everybody's questions. So let me figure out a way to, just kind of put it out there where everybody can get to it.
What's the website one more time?
iambigcourt.com. iambigcourt.com.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you stepped away from the music a minute ago, but in 2010, many people don't know that you was the one that convinced P to come back to the music and to start No Limit Forever. How did you do that?
I did. It was just, I was running with P super tough, and we had a lot of irons in the fire with a lot of different things. I seen the landscape of music changing once again. I thought that, I thought we had another run at it. I thought we had one more ring that we needed to get. And so I was like, man, we need to call this thing No Limit Forever. He was like, you know what, Court, I like that. I think we gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So we launched No Limit Forever. And it was a great experience, man. We had a lot of dope artists. We worked with TEC from Baton Rouge. We worked with Main Music. Salute to him. He just came home from the feds. We had Miss Chi. We had Oak Tree. We had a lot of talent. Gangster. We had a lot of talent from Baton Rouge as well in Atlanta. So yeah, I convinced him to do that. You know what I mean? Because he was done with the music, but I was like, man, it might be easier. At that time, streaming wasn't necessarily a thing. It was kind of the mixtape era, like the dot piff, what was that, dat piff and shit like that. It
Yeah.
was kind of that era before it
Okay.
really got
Tape
to
and all that.
streaming. Yeah, before it really got to streaming. So, man, that was a good time. That was a lot of fun times, and just it felt like we were doing it all over again, just in a different generation. Everything was different. The music business was different. The sensibility of the artists were different. Everything was a learning curve, but we did it for a couple years, and P was like, okay, I think I got that out of my system. So he transitioned into doing what he's doing now, and so did I. I transitioned into doing what I'm doing. So
Thanks, thanks. You have a lot of other successful businesses outside of entertainment, your own real estate as well. Could you take us through your other ventures outside of entertainment and how did you exactly get into real estate?
yeah, I got into real estate. It's funny. I got into real estate because I bought my first house when I was like 19. Um, because I was hustling and I was into music too. So a lot of the OGs in my neighborhood, they was buying real estate. Uh, so I started. To be honest with you, my idea was to start. I did it just in case I got arrested, just in case I went to jail. You know what I'm saying? I would have something, some collateral to get me out of jail. That was the initial plan. I didn't know nothing else about real estate,
Thanks.
and um, so I remember buying my first house for 17,000, 17,500, and I put another maybe 12,000 into it. So I remember standing outside the house, and I was like, man, okay, I'm about 30 some thousand in this joint. At that time, that house, it was a two-bedroom. It could rent for maybe like 550, $600 at the time. So I was like, man, I'm gonna be forever getting my money back. And so it dawned on me because at that time, weed was my hustle. That was that bullshit Reggie, that shit $200 a pound. That was my thing. So it was the same thing with dealing with the Reggie. It was volume. You know what I mean? So back then, you might not make a lot off each one, but if you got 500, 600, elbows of that shit, then
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I looked at the houses as the same thing. I was like, okay, so if I get 600 a month off of this house, I need 10 of these. So that's what made me start buying them, thinking that, okay, that cash flow every month, if I get to 6 7,000, then okay, that's cool, right? And so I got to like 14 houses, and my half brother, he introduced me to a lady that worked in commercial lending down there. And so, mind you, I didn't know nothing about leveraging. I knew nothing. I didn't even have that verbiage. I didn't even have the words. And so anyway, I'm talking to her, and she was like, "You own 14 houses free and clear?" I was like, "Yeah, like I got no loan on them." And she was like, "Wow." You know what I mean? Well, so about within 2 months, she gave me a line of credit for, I think it was a million two over the properties. And then that's when the light went off, like, oh, that's how this works? You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. Yeah, tell me more about equity and leveraging and all, you know what I'm saying? Then I start paying more attention, like, oh, so but that's how it started. You know what I mean? It started literally for me just wanting to buy something in case I went to jail. You know what I'm saying? So and so
Thanks. That's
with
thanks.
with that, I started learning, and so I expanded on that. and I started getting into commercial stuff. I formed a property management company as well. Um, and I did that by accident, same thing, because I had my properties. Then it was other investors that were out of town that had properties in Kansas City that would ask me, like, you got an HVAC guy? Do you have a roofing guy? You got a plumbing guy? I got an apartment down there. Then it dawned on me, like, you know what? I do, but let me. And then the chick that was working for me at the time, she already was a property manager. So I said, man, let's create a company, and then we just merge all the assets. So right now, I have a property management company that manage almost $12 million worth of assets. So I started that like 20 something years ago. So that's why I tell people, man, half the battle is just showing up. Half the battle is just showing up and being open to the information and being open to making the changes, being open to being uncomfortable. That's a part of growth, because I didn't go to school for any of this. I graduated high school. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not formally educated in anything that I've succeeded in, be it production. I hire people that have went to college. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with going to school and getting an education, but I think, a lot of people, you just got to show up. Cause I always say a lot of people are there. They think they have to know everything. They think they have to have everything, and you don't. Some stuff you just going to learn on the fly, but you got to be willing to bump your head. You got to understand that failure is going to be a part of that process. You're not going to just, success is a circuitous path. I always tell people success is like giving a crayon to a 1 year old and letting them scribble on a piece of paper. That's the path to success. You know what I'm saying? It is not a straight line. You know what I mean? That thing is ugly. It's all like that. So yeah, just being willing to do the work. But those are some of the businesses, on top of, now getting into the media space, having the Holding Court podcast. And, that's a viable business. I do really well with that. Me and Ice-T, we're working on a TV network on a fast channel, which is also an OTT platform, which is like a Hulu, like a Tubi. You know what I'm saying? So it's called the OG Network. So we actually working on that. So we'll be launching that in 2025. So that's another thing that I'm focused on as well.
Y'all have been at the top for a long time. 30 years ago, did y'all know the type of history y'all would make and the type of impact y'all would have on the world? Like, was this all a plan?
I think that would have to be a question for P. But me knowing him, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he did exactly what he set out to do. You know what I mean? He did exactly what he set out to do, and what he continues to do. Right now, he's working just in a different arena, but right now he's going to just repeat that same success, in the arena that he's in now. So yeah, he did exactly what he set out to do. He did.
Shout out to you and P, man. You recently co-starred in A Little Piece of Heaven. How did that come about, and when will we be seeing you in more films, or will we be seeing you in more films or sitcoms?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So A Little Piece of Heaven, that just came out. It debuted #1 on All Black. Shout out to All Black. It just went to Tubi as well, probably maybe about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, it's a movie, man. Starring myself and Jasmine Lewis. She played Ice Cube's wife in Barbershop, and Travis Cure from Tyler Perry's The Oval, Rashawn Ali, and myself. So yeah, man, it's a romantic comedy. You know what I mean? I did my thing in there. It's been getting a lot of rave reviews on there. It's been doing really, really good. So the thing about that movie is that's the type of movie that does good around Valentine's Day. It does good around the holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas. You see you see the ratings of it go up, the traffic on it go up. So, but yeah, that's like my 13th movie. I've done a dozen other movies, but that's the most recent one. I have two movies that I'm slated to do, one in Philly and then another one in South Carolina. So, supposed to get that done before the end of the year, but we'll see. But yeah, content creation, I'm with that full time. I mean, I still have my own content, my own shows and my own movies and stuff that will be going to the network that Ice T and I have, the OG network. So yeah, y'all gonna see me in a lot of stuff in 2025.
From the streets to the music to the acting to the business, right? Were those hard transitions to make? Like, did that all come overnight? Did you have to work hard for that? Did it just kind of fall in your lap, or did you have to make certain changes to adapt yourself to that certain way of living?
Mm, I had to adapt more. No, nothing fell in my lap. The biggest, you know, I think the biggest transition was moving out here, was moving to LA and then also being around, wealthy people and being and understanding and seeing how civilians live, because when you come from, the type of environment that I came from, that, I'm presuming that you come from, like, you get killed to little or nothing. You look at a nigga wrong, you say the wrong thing, life is cheap. So I remember when I moved to LA, I moved to a very affluent area. And I remember, seeing people like argue over a parking space and they just walk away. They just be like, fuck you, kiss my ass, and they walk away. And I remember thinking like, damn, where I'm from, somebody gotta die. Like, this don't
Yeah.
end like that. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
really
Like,
too much arguing no more.
yeah, like so seeing how, and once you pull it out of your environment and then you see something else and then you look back like, damn, and so I think that was kind of the adjustment. And then, one thing about me is I've always been very intuitive. So, I know the difference between my real friends, my street friends and my Hollywood friends. I know the difference, so, but, being here in this industry is very, it can be very pretentious. Sometimes, you know, from the streets, you deal with things differently. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
for me, you know, initially, if any type of disrespect or aggression that I encounter, I'm thinking that other thing, right?
Right.
And that's not that's not what it is. That's not how it goes and how you handle it, So that was pretty much, it was adjusted to little things like that. It was little things like that. But for the most part, I always knew, that I knew I had to be. One thing about me, this is what I always say, you can be stubborn with your goals, but you have to be flexible with your methods, So I always understood that. So I understood that, you know, I'm gonna have to be okay with growth. I understood growth was uncomfortable. So I understood that there were going to be spaces that I got to that I knew I needed to be in and wanted to be in, but it was going to require me to maybe think a little bit different, maybe, move a little bit different, maybe even talk a little bit different, So I understood, but that was elevation. And it's not me, because sometimes in our communities, we can trick ourselves to thinking that, oh, you changing. Oh, nigga, I ain't gonna never switch up. Change is good. It's nothing wrong with becoming a better version of yourself. You're not losing who you are. You know what I'm saying? You're simply becoming a better version of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. So I think understanding that it was okay. It's okay that, damn, okay, I don't sag my pants. For one, I'm way too old, but I'm just saying, even back then, 20 years ago, it was like, okay, I'm probably getting too old for this. And I'm moving in different circles. That's kind of stupid. You know what I mean? Like I'm in a whole different thing. Like, so and being okay with that growth and being so that was the thing. It was just being okay with each level of growth and leveling up. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
yeah, so that like when I first started seeing money, just like everybody else, you want to pull up. You want the fly car, you want all the accoutrements that come with success. You want the bust down, you want all of that, right? That's kind of a process. But
Right.
but then I did that. But then when I started getting in certain circles, I'm like, hold up. I'm noticing that the people that really, really got it, they got real money. I got play money, right? They got real money. Damn, they don't even look like they got it. They don't even have none of that. You know what I'm saying? They don't have none. Damn, they live in they house 50 million and he drive a Prius. So but then you start understanding that, oh, that's because they understand money. And so their money, that's how they stay rich, is they got their money working for them. They understand that, okay, I can buy a Rolls Royce 400,000, but that's a straw purchase. That 400,000, that's wasted. You know what I'm saying? That's my money. I'm not going to get nothing from that because when I drive it off the lot, it's worth 375. In 2-3 years, it'll be worth 150. So I'm losing with that. So they gonna take that 400 and do something else with it, or if they want to play with the Rolls Royce instead of, okay, I cashed out on 400 and I got it sitting in the driveway. They're going to say, okay, I'm gonna get this Rolls Royce. I got 400 that I could spend on it. Well, I'm gonna lease it for a year. So 4,500 a month. Okay, that's about what, 60 grand a year. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put it in my business name. I'm gonna take 60 from my 400, play with the Rolls Royce, and I'm still gonna get a tax credit because of the weight of the car, and I'm gonna write it off on my business. And I still got 340,000 that I done went and made some more money with, and it covered the cost of the roles, and I still got the roles to play with it. I didn't lose. So the concept of money is different. So when you start getting new information, then you start moving different. You know what I'm saying? So that was the thing, is just being open to the information, being open, to new things that were outside of what I thought it was or what I had been taught.
Absolutely.
So you have a podcast as well, which landed a deal with the revolt in the 2023. Did that come about and take us through when it airs days and times?
What was the last part?
Hmm?
Take us
What?
through take us through how you landed the deal with Revolt and the
Okay.
days and times that your podcast is.
You said the last part is the what?
The days of and the times that the podcast is.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, man, with the podcast, man, I was just being consistent, just being total. Listen, I started the podcast in quarantine, right? During the shutdown. I didn't know nothing about podcasting, bro. I didn't know nothing. I had never even loaded a video to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I thought me and producer Ken thought I had something to offer in this space. So, I called all my friends. The first guest that I had Michael Jai White, I had Master P, Silk the Shocker, Jay Prince, Lil Easy E. All of these were personal friends of mine. So I said, hey man, I'm doing a show. Man, can y'all come by? Just, you know what I'm saying? Just let me interview you for about an hour. And so I just did it, having fun with it. And, you know, then I started really getting into the space and I was like, damn, like I really enjoy this. And so, yeah, about a year and a half in, the head of Revolt, kept seeing me on social media, just being consistent. And, he hit me like, hey man, he's like, what you doing over there? What you got cracking? I was like, man, I'm just doing this. It's just all me. He was like, man, let's have a conversation. So, that's when I end up doing the deal with Revolt. Just that's why I tell everybody consistency is key, man. It was just being consistent. I always say, man, people have made it to the Hall of Fame with base hits too. Everything ain't a home run. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you just stay consistent. You keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging, And so I think just the consistency and the quality of the content is what caught their attention. So yeah, I've been with Revolt about a year and some change, and it's been cool, man. Like we've been doing our thing.
What was your relationship with big boys?
The say one with the who?
Big boys.
Big boys?
Yeah.
What's that?
I must have read it wrong. We just gonna move on to the next one. You heard me? Entertainment and life are two different things, but life lessons could be learned in both. What's the biggest lesson you learned in entertainment, and what's the biggest lesson that life has taught
Um, nobody's coming to save you. You know, nobody's coming to save you. You got to do it yourself. Your dream is your dream, and that's the key thing. You have to find out what your purpose is. You have to put in the work to make it happen. Now, people can help you along the way, but at the end of the day, you got to do it. You have to be in charge of your dream. The minute that you relinquish that to somebody else and put it in somebody's hand, you set yourself up for failure. So yeah, that's it, man. Nobody's coming to save you professionally or personally. You have to do the work. You can get help, but people are busy saving themselves too. You know what I mean? So when you understand that nobody owes you anything, and sure, people can help you, people can give you a leg up, and that's always good, but you got to be prepared to do the brunt of it. You got to be prepared to consistently prove yourself and go get your piece and go get what it is that you after. So nobody's in charge of your dream but you.
you? That's hard.
Mhm.
Before you get out of here, let us renew any businesses, ventures, upcoming podcasts. Like what you got? Like what you got? Coming up. Like fill us in.
Um, so again, next year, man, y'all tune in to, like I said, me and Ice T will be dropping OG Network sometime next year. It'll be premiering. Of course, tap in with the Holding Court podcast on YouTube and all streaming platforms. Of course, go tap in with A Little Piece of Heaven. That's on Tubi and on All Black. Then of course, legacy builders, go to iambigcourt.com. You want to, boss your life up, get to the next level. That's what we focused on. That's all my focus right now is legacy builders and the podcast. I mean, the next episode we right now we got First Degree, the DE. We have him running on the podcast, Sacramento rap legend. Next we got Bentley Kyle Evans. We got his interview dropping next week. He's the writer and producer of the Martin Show and the Jamie Foxx Show, and he's got a show on Netflix. He did Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and also he's got the new show that my daughter's working on called Mind Your Business. Then after that, we got Zero. We got Zero from Houston. We got him dropping on the show. So we got some dope shit coming. Then after that, we got Tank, the R&B star Tank, you know what I mean? So we got him too. So we got some stuff coming, man.
I just got one more question. Do
Mhm.
y'all look at each other as legends? Like, do y'all look at each other as like, all right, that's my little partner, Master P, or that's my little partner, like some of the other big names that you named? Do y'all look at each other as legends, or that's just P, or that's just Silk, or that's just Jay Prince?
Oh, you mean, well, excuse me. I think that no, I think we respect each other. It's I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's hard for me because see, I forget sometimes that P is P. I forget that he's Master P because he's like my brother. You know what I mean? So that's like family. So for me, he just P. It's like, you know what I mean? But I never take for granted who he is and what he's done and having access to him. Same way with the other people. Silk is like my brother too. I talk to Silk all the time. I talk to Boz all the time. There's some No Limit brothers that I still talk to. Mr. Servon, I talk to him. He's always gonna be big bro. KLC, that's always gonna be Big Bro. XL, the producer from No Limit, always gonna be my brother. Like some of these, so for us, I can't say that it's like that. It's more family, more really brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Now for someone like now we all respect each other in our respective lanes, and we do know, and we respect and acknowledge who, each of us are, you know what I mean, in our respective lanes. So it's not like they don't see me and say, oh, of course, no, we definitely, support each other and lift each other up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's more family. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's more family.
What's the biggest piece of advice you could give me before we get out of here from being a young up and coming podcast?
Um, Man, I would say just stay true to yourself. Stay true to you. Don't chase the algorithm. Be the algorithm. I know sometimes it could be frustrating because everybody felt like their content is the shit and it's good. And sometimes it's easy to lean into the bullshit, the controversy, the salacious shit, all the rumor mill gossip shit. That's easy, but that's intellectually lazy as well. And don't get me wrong, there's a place for it. I believe that there's a place for everything, right? um but I would say just do what feels good to you. Operate with integrity. Be authentic, because then people will see that. People connect with authenticity. You know what I mean? So when you're doing what's natural to you and what's real to you and what you feel, there's other people that feel like that too, and it'll resonate. It'll resonate with them. Um, yeah, in this pot, and I tell people consistency, man. Consistency. I can't stress that enough, bro. um I didn't spend any marketing dollars on Holding Court Podcast. What I did was created like a almost like this synergistic effect, because I was posting to TikTok, to IG, to Facebook, to YouTube Shorts, and I had the YouTube long form, and I was doing this consistently 2 or 3 times a day. So I was inundating people with so much content, to the point to where I say probably I ain't even gonna put the 10 on the two. I say 5 times out of 10 here in LA, or when I travel different places, 5 times out of 10, half the time, somebody's going to recognize me. And it's not like I have just, a whole bunch of, I have probably 400,000 people across all my platforms in terms of the ecosystem I created. But I've got thousands of clips. I've got, dozens, if not hundreds of viral clips. You know what I mean? So when you tally all of that together, you talk about 200-300 million views of everything from TikTok to Instagram to YouTube to, so for me, I always stay in a perpetual discovery phase, meaning that it's not always about trying to get the money. For me, it's still trying to get it out there to the people. It's still trying to get to the people, just to grow the brand, grow the brand. I don't care if I ain't monetized on TikTok. I'm still posting 2-3 times a day. You know what I mean? Because I just need y'all to see it. I want y'all to go over to YouTube anyway. And then when you get to YouTube, I want you to come over to Legacy Builders anyway. You know what I mean? So it's figuring out where you want to get people to pay you at. So my thing is just be consistent, man. Be authentic and be consistent.
Man, you dropped so many gems, bro. I could go make me a chain, bro. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Y'all legends. Even if y'all don't look at yourselves as it, I tell you, y'all are legends. I watched y'all for I'm 39, right? So I've
Okay.
literally watched y'all all my life. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I salute where y'all come from. I salute where y'all at, and I salute
Mhm.
where y'all going, man. Is there anything that you felt like you haven't done?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's plenty that I haven't done. I mean, I've been wanting to write a book. um Again, there's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to all of this, man. Like I always say comparison is the thief of joy. So, you want to balance. You want to balance being ambitious and being motivated and pushing yourself, but you also, have to know when to be content but not complacent, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, we can't take none of this with us, right? So, we don't want to spend so much time just grinding, going, trying to get to the next thing to where you look up and you ain't even lived life, just sometimes the simple things, you know what I'm saying? So yes, there are some things that I haven't done that maybe I'll get to or maybe not. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm at the point in my life where I don't even do things for money. I do things that I enjoy. And that's the greatest thing. The fact that I get up every day, I don't have to clock into some job that I hate. I don't have to do some stuff that I don't want to do. I literally get up, my time is my own, and I'm able to work on my goals and my businesses and do what I love doing. So, with that being said, there's always opportunity to do the things I haven't done. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's some there are heights that I haven't reached yet. Let me say that. I've done a lot, but even in that, there are heights, there's levels. You know what I mean? I created a great podcast, right? But I'm not Joe Rogan. I haven't done Joe Rogan numbers, so there's levels to it. So there's still work to do. Now, true enough, have I come a long way in a short period of time? Sure, I have. And I shouldn't rob myself of that, but I shouldn't rest on that either. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. It's like, okay, I come from the hood, but okay, yeah, I live in a beautiful home, but yeah, but shit. There's some of my neighbors or their house is 15 million. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Man, thank you for coming through, Court. This was a big
For sure.
You heard me? I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You gave me a shot, and I appreciate you, my brother. Y'all
For sure.
Man,
hey, I appreciate the love, man. Listen, I love Louisiana, man. It's one of my favorite places, New Orleans. I actually have a house down there. I'm actually a resident of New Orleans. I got a Louisiana ID. You know what I mean? Show you hey, listen, no cap. Show you I ain't bullshitting. Louisiana. I got a Louisiana ID. You know what I mean? So
you gotta get at me, man. I gotta meet you in person, Court.
Yeah, that's that, man. I get so much love in New Orleans, bro. I love New Orleans. I'm gonna be honest with you. New Orleans is like my third home, bro. I have a spot down there in the Upper Ninth. Every time I come to New Orleans, man, it's nothing but love. I promise you, it's nothing but love. I love the culture in New Orleans. I got a couple of my partners stay out in Chalmette. I love New Orleans. It's if I didn't live here in LA, the only other place that I would consider living is New Orleans and probably Houston.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. Man, I appreciate you for coming.
Yeah.
I miss you.
Already.
A lot of success, brother. And
likewise.
I hope to see the success that y'all had, bro.
Yeah, for sure. And you will. You keep grinding, bro. Keep putting your best foot forward. Keep making the necessary changes. Part of putting in the work is making the necessary changes. Don't be afraid to grow, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like, damn, I don't even know, man. Jump out there. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain, So my thing is just don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Court.
Right on. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
It's P. the General. To know of the podcast. You keep your body clean, nah? Yeah.
Being really comfortable with all of that thing. You know what you're trying to say?
Do what you do, baby.
Yeah, I want congrats. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Real.
Yeah. I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a farm, his whole juice. Man, I'm looking at the screen like he preach. Cause I was on the phone with him, you feel me? So you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that you getting up there and you keeping it all the way phone. He ain't, what them little niggas be saying, he ain't cloud chase, he ain't capping, he ain't doing none of that. Like, he ain't trying to make himself look, you know, he letting his legacy speak. I like that shit. Like, let your legacy